A man went to a sperm bank but found the whole atmosphere of the place odd, which made it impossible for him to perform, so he asked one of the young nurses who was new to the clinic if she would help him. Sometime later he emerged with a very small sample and was asked by the doctor, "Why did it take so long?" "Sorry, doc," he replied, "I would have been out sooner, but it took ages to get your nurse to cough it back." A wife goes on a trip for work, and when she returns she finds a pair of panties in her dresser that do not belong to her. Furious, she questions her husband, and the husband says, "I have no idea where they came from, I don't do the laundry." So the wife goes to the maid and questions her. Indignant, the maid replies, "Madam, how should I know? These panties don't belong to me. I don't even wear panties, just ask your husband." A woman is so upset about her flat chest, she tells her husband she wants to go to a plastic surgeon. "Hold on a minute," replies the man, "before you go, try rubbing toilet paper on your chest for the next few days." "But why?" says the woman, "I don't understand. Will it make them bigger?" "Well, it certainly worked for your ass, didn't it?" The boy was so frustrated, he'd been seeing this girl for over a month. But apart from some kissing and cuddling he'd never made a move on her, because he was embarrassed at the small size of his willy. Eventually, he mustered all his courage, took it out, and placed it in her hand. She said, "No thanks, I don't smoke." A young couple had been married for less than 6 months, but the bride was obsessed with knowing how many women her husband had slept with. "If I tell you, it'll only make you angry and upset," he said. "No, it won't." She assured him, "I just need to know." Eventually, the man gave in, and said, "Okay, now let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11. An atheist dies, and goes to hell. The devil welcomes him and says, "Let me show you around a little bit." They walk through a nice park with green trees, and the devil shows him a huge palace. "This is your house, now here are your keys." The man is happy and thanks the devil. The devil says no need to say thank you. Everyone gets a nice place to live in when they come down here. They continue walking through the nice park, flowers everywhere, and the devil shows the atheist a garage full of beautiful cars. "These are your cars now," and hands the man all the car keys. Again the atheist tries to thank the devil, but he only says, "Everyone down here gets some cool cars. How would you drive around without having cars?" They walk on, and the area gets even nicer. There are birds chirping, squirrels running around, kittens everywhere. Then they arrive at a fountain, where the most beautiful woman the atheist has ever seen sits on a bench. She looks at him and they instantly fall in love with each other. The man couldn't be any happier. The devil says, "Everyone gets to have their soulmate down here. We don't want anyone to be lonely." As they walk on, the atheist notices a high fence. He peeks to the other side, and he is totally shocked. There are people in pools of lava, screaming in pain, while little devils run around and stab them with their tridents. Other devils are skinning people alive, heads are spiked, and many more terrible things are happening. A stench of sulfur is in the air. Terrified, the man stumbles backward and asks the devil, "What is going on there?" The devil just shrugs and says, "Those are the Christians. I don't know why, but they prefer it that way." A guy goes to the supermarket and notices an attractive woman waving at him. She says hello, and he's rather taken aback because he can't place where he knows her from, so he says, "Do you know me?" To which she replies, "I think you're the father of one of my kids." Now his mind travels back to the only time he has ever been unfaithful to his wife, and says, "My God, are you the stripper from my bachelor party that I made love to on the pool table with all my buddies watching while your partner whipped my butt with wet celery?" She looks into his eyes and says calmly, "No, I'm your son's teacher." One day while Johnny's dad was just getting out of the shower, Johnny looked down and said, "Dad, what's that hanging between your legs?" "Oh, Johnny, that's my nerve, and yours will be this big one of these days," replies Johnny's dad. Anyway, the next day while in school, little Johnny really had to pee, so he raised his hand and said, "Miss Honey, I really need to go to the bathroom." "No, not yet. There's someone gone," says his teacher. Not able to hold it in, Johnny walks to the garbage can and starts to pee. Surprised to see her student peeing in a garbage can in front of the whole class, the teacher says, "Oh my! Johnny, you have some nerve." Johnny says, "That's nothing, you should see my dad's." A salesman rings the doorbell and little Johnny answers. The salesman says, "Can I see your dad?" Johnny replies, "No, he's in the shower." The salesman says, "What about your mother? Can I see her?" Johnny says, "Nope, she's in the shower too." The salesman, "Do you think they'll be out soon?" Johnny replies, "I doubt it. When my dad asked me for the Vaseline, I gave him super glue instead." One day little Johnny asked his father, "Dad, what's the difference between hypothetically and realistically?" Little Johnny's dad thought for a moment, then said, "Okay, before I answer your question, I want you to go to your mom's room and ask her if she would sleep with a man for $1 million. Little Johnny was confused. but obeyed his dad anyways. He went to his mom and asked, "Mom, would you sleep with a man for $1 million?" She excitedly said yes. Then he came back to his dad to let him know. Little Johnny's dad then said, "Okay, now go and ask the same question to your 18-year-old sister." Little Johnny went upstairs and asked her, "Kimberly, would you sleep with a man for $1 million?" She said yes. Then he came back to his dad to let him know. Then his dad told little Johnny, "Alright, now go and ask your 17-year-old brother the same question." Once again little Johnny came back to his dad. Dad Jason also said yes. Then little Johnny's dad, with a smirk on his face, said, "Okay Johnny, hypothetically speaking in this house we have $3 million, but realistically speaking, in this house we have 2 whores and 1 gay whore." If you want more jokes like this, make sure to like and subscribe.